We initially wrote the business plan as an internet B2C e-commerce pure player. That was the original way we funded the company. We went out to investors telling them we're going to launch a brand which will be distributed on an online website which we will own, and we will be selling that brand directly to the consumer through internet sales. This is how we wrote the business plan, and this is not what happened. We did that, but we did a lot more than that, because just a couple of months into B2C sales on the internet, we got our first phone calls from a couple of retailers, people owning small pet shops, a couple of vets, etc., and they were interested in having the product on the shelf. So we wrote up a retailer price list and tried to see what we could do. We realized that we could probably work enough margin for us and for the retailers into the pricing structure, and we went out with a price list and started having one B2B retailer, and then a second one, and a third one, and a fourth one, and then one thing led to another. So nowadays we have almost 150 retailers over France, Belgium, Switzerland, and we have, of course, very strong internet B2C sales, but we are now operating on a pretty balanced business where it's pretty much a 50-50 thing in terms of our income, coming for half of which comes from B2C internet direct sales, the other half nowadays coming from retailers. So it is quite different from what we envisioned. The business looks different, I would say, from what we originally envisioned. If I take out the B2B sales today from the company's sales, definitely I am way below target. So we pivoted to something that was more of a B2C slight B2B mix, because if we had held to our guns very strictly and had been adamant that we don't want to have anything to do with retailers, the company would look quite different today. We probably have about half the employees we currently have, and probably have about half the sales we currently have. The end user looks very much like the end user that we envisioned. I'm talking about the pet owner as the end user. The actual end user is the pet itself, but of course we're looking at the pet's owner and looking at their persona. The persona of the end user from that perspective is still very much what we envisioned. The type of customer that buys from our website and the type of customer that pushes the door of one of our retailers to purchase our products from their shelves, that customer, that average customer's persona still looks very much like what we envisioned. If you look at it strictly from the point of view of B2C versus B2B customers, then of course we had not initially envisioned collaboration with store owners, with retailers, or with vet clinics. Initially, I thought that most vets would not care about my product because my product actually cures pets in lots of ways. And I thought, why would anybody whose business it is to cure pets would be interested in selling a food that's going to allow the pet owner to get rid of all the problems, as opposed to selling treatment and medication that's going to keep the pet coming over and over to the vet clinic. That was a very cynical perspective on things, and perhaps it was a bit tainted by my own experience with some vets that I had met before as a pet owner. Some of the vets I had met earlier in the first years of my hobby fit that profile. For unfortunately quite a few of them, that they cared more about curing the effects than curing the source of the problem. So they will give cortisone, for example, if your dog scratches itself too hard. They'll give cortisone shots to soothe the itching. They will not look at what's causing the itching initially. Many of them will not, because they're not interested in that. Because if they find the source for the itching, you take care of the source, the itching stops, and next thing you know, they're not coming to the vet clinic anymore. So they're more interested in selling treatment and creams and ointments and cortisone shots and cortisone pills to soothe the itching versus treating the actual cause, which very often is in the food itself. So I had kind of built my business plan. The whole rationale behind that was that vets would not be so interested in my products for that reason. And I turned out to be wrong on that, because half of our retailers today are vet clinics, but we're dealing with the kind of vet that are mostly into natural medicine, holistic approaches to medicine, and those types of vets absolutely love our products, and we're doing very well with those guys.